the French graces are, for this particular piece, pretty clear what we're supposed to do. I'm playing the Sarabande, which is at the beginning of Jean Hotteterre's Ländliche Hochzeit, and we can use another source to interpret the actual symbols that are written in there. So this publication came out in 1722, and Jacques Hotteterre Le Romain, he published in a few years earlier his first book of sonatas for the suites for the flute. And the opening includes a key for how to play these ornaments. I believe these two guys were brothers, so it's safe to assume that Jean would have used some of the same figures that Le Romain uses for his books. So to get in very closely to how we actually execute these things, there are a handful of them that show up in the Sarabande. And a couple of things are really important, and that is the timing of the actual grace or the ornament. In most cases, these ornaments happen on the time of the note to which they're connected or over which they are found. So even at the very beginning, we have a Coulement, or sometimes it's called a tierce coulée, from the first to the second note. And this is one that it's sometimes difficult to know. Does it go tam ta, or does it go tam tam? But in this case, I think it's pretty clear. First of all, this is a sarabande, so we need the second beat to be anchored. That's the gesture of the dance, the sarabande. And secondly, the little grace is actually connected to the second note with a slur. So those are a couple of indications that make me believe that stylistically correct is to place it on the second beat. The next ornament that we get is just a shake or a trill, however you want to call it. So that's in the fourth bar. And it's just in the fingers. So if without the trill, that should have exactly the same shape, even if there's the shake or trill in it. And again, try to keep as few shakes and trills as you can manage and still have it be an ornament. Okay, then comes the upside down carrot thing, which is a pot de voix. And that just means that we sort of scoop. It's a modern, you hear this in pop songs a lot. We're just going to scoop from the note beneath. And as you hear, I place the scooped note on the beat. It doesn't come before, it comes on the time. And that one occurs a number of times in this particular piece. It's not an ornament, but it's a gesture I want to point out again. These cadences always have the ta-da figure. So really try to be sure that you're making space for the ta-da. There's always space for it. It sometimes means resolving the note before with plenty of time so that you can get that in. And as you see, the phrase is not jilted, it just needs that space. So resist the urge to slur into that, which is a common thing that is acceptable in later music, but this is not part of the language that we're speaking and the dialect that is appropriate for this particular music. So then we go on, and we have also another double pot de voix that's written out. It's not actually marked with an ornament, but it's actually written out in the last system The third bar and again happens on the beat of that particular bar. The timing is quite critical for proper pronunciation. And I believe the rest of the ornaments here are self-explanatory. The one key thing to keep in mind is all of these graces and ornaments, they need to adorn the structure of the melody without influencing it. So if you imagine having a beautiful room, if the corners of my room were decorated with the stucco or the friezes and things, that's not what's holding up the building. So the thing that's holding up the building has to stay there. We're just adding to what's already there. So anyway, have a good time with these graces, and we'll cover a few more in a further video.